Hey everybody, and welcome to my play review of Ernie's incredible Illucinations. Obviously it looks backwards to you. I will put a picture at the top as well so you can see what it should actually look like. Ernie's Incredible Illucinations was written by Alan Ayckbourn, or should we now say Sir Alan Ayckbourn. And he was a very prolific writer who has written, I think, roughly about 90 plays, and 10 of those have been on Broadway as well, and he's also won Tony Awards, so he's a really well-known writer. And this play is probably one of his shorter plays, but it's loved by an awful lot of people, and a lot of children seem to really like this play. Whenever I've actually done it with them, it really sort of seizes on their imagination. So let's have a little look at some of the characters within the play. You've got Mum, you've got Dad, you've of course got Ernie, and you have a doctor, and then you've got lots of subsidiary characters and things that come along as well. Ernie is a sort of young lad. He's got a very imaginative imagination, which is why it's called Illucinations rather than hallucinations. It's Illucinations because he imagines them, and then these illuminations actually come to life. So that's the whole premise of the play. Mum is a very kind of mumsy mum, probably a little bit bossy, in charge of the house. And Dad's your kind of stereotypical fumbling dad who tends to get things wrong, a little bit of comic relief in there as well. Not necessarily as things are in families today, but this was, written a little while ago. Now, looking at the story itself, it's a one-act play. It's only about 21 pages long, so it's not very long. It's really quite accessible. It doesn't have different scenes to it in the sense that it's written in there with different scenes, but it does have three very clear sections within the story itself. At the very start, they end up in the doctor's office, and they're talking about Ernie's hallucinations and how these things keep happening that they can't explain, and what can they do to stop it. And obviously the doctor doesn't really understand it because hallucinations isn't really a thing. And so they start describing some of the things that have been happening. And the first one happens to be that a group of soldiers actually storm the house. And I'm not going to tell you too much more about it because it will spoil the comedy in that particular scene, but they reenact kind of this whole scene for the doctor, so that as they're telling him the story, they act it out. So there's lots of slapstick humour within this particular scene, and they end up having to sort of get rid of lots of bodies in different places. It sounds a bit gruesome and gory. It's not. It is very slapstick. It is very comedic. So the second section that you have is when his auntie comes to stay, and they go to the fair. So you have barkers that are out sort of side, and they have a boxing match that is going on inside with Kid Saracen, who's another one of the characters. And in the end, auntie ends up getting in the boxing room and having a bit of a fight. And Ernie starts imagining, oh, I wonder what would happen if, and then that comes to life. So that's like your second scene within the play. You then move on to the third section where Dad takes Ernie to the library in order to keep him out of trouble, and of course that doesn't quite happen. They end up in a bit of an espionage situation, and also as I think the librarian is going up the ladder, Dad ends up having to rescue said librarian from the ladder, which then becomes a big mountain, and they're mountaineering up this the mountain face with ropes and everything, and trying to save the librarian. Then they end up going back to the doctor's office, and the parents, he still doesn't believe them really, kind of understandably, but the parents say, go on Ernie, imagine something. So Ernie imagines a brass band, and then the brass band comes through the office. So what do I think about this play? I really like this play. I think it's so imaginative and, like I said, so accessible to sort of younger children and sort of your early teens. kids just seem to love the slapstick comedy and humour in it, and doing all the voices, which kind of really brings it to life. And because it's only 21 pages, it's not very long. It doesn't have massive chunks of text in it, which is really nice. If you were doing it just for something fun to do at home, you could always get them to imagine their own hallucination. You could get them to write a script about it. You could again do costumes design, stage in a shoebox, which are always fun. You could always do staging with jelly babies, actually, which is a really good one to do, and get them to set out jelly babies for a different scene. You could do the same thing if you were homeschooling, or if you were in a school and you were wanting to do this. Obviously, if you're doing it in a school, make sure if you're going to perform it that you're looking at your licensing and you're getting all the licensing rights and everything there as well. But I think for me, this is probably one of my go-to favourite, really easy plays to look at that are fun and enjoyable. It's got a lot going for it. Alan Ayckbourn is a great writer. And actually, one of the quotes from Alan Ayckbourn is something along the lines of his favourite thing is when he hears people sort of coming out of the theatre and he hears them saying, "Well, I never saw that coming." And he really likes that. So, there are other things to check out, but like I said, this is probably his most innocent and fun and silly play. If you'd like to hear more sort of play reviews from me, some sort of quick ones, then please don't forget to subscribe and like the channel on the subscribe button, and we will be bringing some more plays to you as soon as we can. Hope you enjoyed this one, and if you do read Ernie's Incredible Illucinations, do leave a comment as well, so everybody can see what you thought about it as well. Anyway, have a lovely day. Bye bye.